Chapter 29 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda, Maya Sita slain. Shri Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Indrajit remembered the devastation caused in his own army by the Vanara chiefs and the Kosala brothers, and he was very angry. He came out of the western gateway of the city. He saw from a distance the gallant brothers and their readiness to fight. He decided to use his Maya to his advantage. He made up his mind to create a figure which would be the very image of Sita. He thought of taking this Sita with him to the battlefield, and there, in the presence of everyone, he would kill her with his sword. To think was to act, and Indrajit emerged from the gates of the city with Sita in his chariot. He was seen by the Vanaras, and they armed themselves with the usual boulders and stood prepared for his coming. Hanuman was leading the army, and Indrajit saw him. The Rakshasa prince went straight towards Hanuman, and in his chariot was seen Sita. She was wearing the solid yellow silk which Hanuman had seen before, and she was beautiful like the moon under eclipse. She was sitting forlorn as though she did not care about what was happening around her. Her long hair was twisted in a single plait, and it hung like a black serpent on her back. Her face was tired since she had been fasting continuously, and there were not many jewels on her. Hanuman knew her only too well, and he stood spellbound when he saw her in the chariot of Indrajit. He looked again and again, and seeing the tear-stained face of the Devi, Hanuman was full of sadness. He saw that she was now a captive of Indrajit, and he thought, what are his plans? What is to happen now? Hanuman went towards the chariot of Indrajit and began to assail him. Indrajit looked very angry, and he took his sword out of his scabbard. He caught hold of Sita by her hair, and she wailed, Rama, Rama, in a piteous voice. Even as they were watching, Indrajit began to beat her up. Hanuman saw her caught by her hair, and his grief and anger were unbearable. Tears flowed from his eyes, and he said, You are a sinner, born in the rays of Brahma. You do not seem to have inherited any gentleness from your ancestor. You have grabbed the hair of Devi, and remember, it is because your end is near, or else you would not have dared to do so. You are fit for the worst kind of punishment, cruel, sinful, small-minded, and proud of your sinfulness. This act of yours is against all codes of dharma. You have a heart of stone, and there is not even a vestige of pity in your cruel heart. She was expelled from her palace, and then she was without a kingdom. She was parted from Rama, and now you want to kill her. Why do you do it? How has she offended you? After killing Sita, you will not live very long. You are now in my power, and you will meet your death at my hands. I will dispatch you to the world meant for sinners of the worst type. Jai Shri Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Panamast. Chapter 29, Part 2 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda, Maya Sita is slain. Apadamahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokaviramam Shriramam Bhuyo Namamyaham. Hanuman rushed towards Indrajit, surrounded by his army. The Rakshasas were prepared for his onslaught, and Indrajit began his task of destruction. He saw that Hanuman was very unhappy, and he said, Sita was the reason why your king Sugriva, you and Rama with his brother came to Lanka. While you are looking on, I will, this very moment, kill her. After killing her, I will kill the others, Rama, Lakshmana, Sugriva, that low-minded Vibhishana, and finally you. You seem to be fond of teaching dharma to others, that women should not be killed. I am telling you that anything done with a desire to hurt the enemy is right. Indrajit laughed loudly, and with a sharp sword he slashed at the weeping Sita. She fell on the terrace of the chariot, and she was cut into two across the chest. Indrajit said, Monkey, look at the wife of your master who has been killed by me. Sita is dead, and all your efforts have gone waste. Indrajit was roaring with triumph. The Vanara army was filled with pain, and they did not have the enthusiasm to fight with Indrajit. They ran in all directions, unable to withstand the valor of the many Rakshasas. Hanuman tried to make them come back and fight. He led them and tried to continue the fight. With anger born of sorrow, Hanuman fought with great vigor, and Indrajit, seeing the confusion in his army caused by Hanuman, came near and began to harass them. Hanuman was despondent and said, Come, let us go back. There is no use in fighting any longer. To please Rama, we have been fighting, and Sita, the sole cause of this war, has been killed. We will hasten to the presence of our king and Rama and tell them about what happened. We will wait for their instructions and proceed accordingly. Hanuman, the fearless, walked slowly and with halting steps towards the presence of Rama, and seeing him go away from his presence, Indrajit left the field of battle. Jai Shri Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram, Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattvalyam Rama Nama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Pranamastu. Chapter 30 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda, Yaga at Nukimbila. Apadamahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokaviramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam. Indrajit wanted to perform an important yaga at a place called Nukimbula, and he wanted to set about it as early as possible. He reached Nikumbila and he kindled the sacrificed sacred fire. He fed it with ghee purified by incantations. He acted strictly according to the rules prescribed, and the fire burned brightly. Fed by the oblations, the fire burned, nay, glowed like the sun during the evening. Indrajit knew the rituals well, and he fed the fire with havis, and the Rakshasas sat around him, and they watched him while he sat absorbed in the performance of the yaga. In the meantime, Rama and Lakshmana heard the tumult in the field where Hanuman was fighting with Indrajit. Rama spoke to Jambavan and said, It seems to me the Vanaras are in need of help. I suggest that you go with an army. Jambavan went fast towards the western gateway where the fight was going on. He encountered Hanuman on the way and saw the grief that was writ on the face of his friends. The entire army was depressed, and there were tears in the eyes of Hanuman. He stopped Jambavan on the way and said, Let us hasten to the spot where Rama is seated with our king. They went to Rama, and Hanuman said, Indrajit, the son of Ravana, brought Sita in his chariot, and even as I was looking on, he killed her with his sword. I saw her being killed, and drowned in sorrow, I have hurried to you to give you the terrible news. Hearing the words of Hanuman, Rama fell down in a dead faint. The Vanaras surrounded him and tried to revive him with water and flowers dipped in water. Lakshmana, whose grief was greater than that of his brother, if that were possible, took his brother in his arms and mourned with him the death of Sita. He said, Rama, evidently Dharma is not meant to win. Tell me how it has helped us. You have ever walked in the path of Dharma, and you have had your senses under control. Selflessly, you have worked in the world of men, and this is the manner in which fate rewards you. Dharma is evidently unable to protect us from evil. I am certain that Dharma exists, but then it is not pursued by the world around us or by the senses. Men like you, who are unmoved under the shock of the greatest of the calamities, are proofs enough that Dharma is there. If Dharma should be victorious in the end, then Ravana should have been dispatched to the nether regions, and you would never have been made to undergo such untold sufferings. When I see the number of misfortunes which have been visited on you, one after another, I have come to think that the two words, Dharma and Adharma, have changed their meanings. Dharma is said to be the breeder of further Dharma, and likewise Adharma that of Adharma. Those who have been Adharmis are said to come to grief in the end. Whoever is attached to righteousness will never be enamored of Adharma, and he will be rewarded in the end. Adharma is the breeder of greed and similar sins. Wicked people suffer for their sins. Rama, I have ever felt that might is right, and you should try to think on matters like me now. Because of your adherence to Dharma, you were banished to the forest. You did not try to subdue our father with your valor. The time has come when action is needed. Your dear beloved wife had been abducted first and is now killed by these sinners. I will avenge the ills meted out to you. Come, rouse up. How is it you do not remember that you are all powerful and capable of destroying the entire universe? I have been born only to serve you, and my anger is now uncontrollable. When I think of the killing of Sita, my very breath is fuming. I will go and destroy the city of Lanka with all the citizens there. Jai Shri Lakshmana, Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattvalyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Pranamast. Chapter 30.2 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda, Yaga at Nikumbila. Apadamahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabiramam Sriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam. While Lakshmana was thus comforting his brother, Vibhishana, who had been looking after the army, came there. He came near and saw Rama faint with sorrow and everyone in tears. Rama had not recovered from his faint, and he was lying with his head cradled on the lap of his brother. Vibhishana did not know why Rama was so unhappy that he had fainted, and he looked at everyone. Lakshmana looked at Vibhishana and said, My dear friend, Rama is unhappy, and he has lost all hopes of living ever since Hanuman came with the news that Indrajit has killed Sita. When he heard the words of Hanuman, my brother went into a faint, and he has not recovered yet from it. Vibhishana signed for him to stop and said, Rama, Lord of the world, I feel that the words of Hanuman, which have plugged you in sorrow, are not to be believed completely. I know fully well the feelings of Ravana towards Sita. He would never have allowed her to be killed. How often have I asked him to give her up and seek for peace with you? He has never once listened to me. She will never become his by any of the four ways of persuasion, not by Sama, or by Dhana, Beda, or Dhanda. He would never have thought of Dhanda as far as she is concerned. That is certain. I have it. The wily Indrajit has deceived the Vanaras, including the wise Hanuman, and has gone to Nikumbila to perform a yaga. If he succeeds in concluding the yaga, he will be invincible. Not Indra nor any of the gods can touch him. He must have anticipated some kind of obstacle to the proper performance of the yaga by the Vanaras, and that was why he has thought up this ruse to keep them away from Nikumbila. That is certain. Do not be unhappy at the killing of Sita. It is not true. It is one of the many Maya tactics of Indrajit. Let us go soon to the spot by name Nikumbila, where he is busy with the yaga. Let us take a large army with us and go to stop the completion of the yaga. Rama, get up. The army is plunged in grief because of your sorrow. Be at peace and send Lakshmana with me and a portion of the army. This great hero will disturb the yaga and Indrajit will leave it undone. He will then be easy to kill. Lakshmana's arrow will soon drink his blood. Grant permission to Lakshmana to achieve that great task of killing Indrajit. There is no time to be lost. You must hurry. If Indrajit completes the yaga, nothing can hurt him. Not even you or Lakshmana. He will be a dangerous antagonist, and let us tackle him as early as possible. Time is of the utmost importance. Rama did not hear even a word of what he was saying, since he was sunk in stupor. After a while he regained his sense, and the words of Vibhishana were slowly understood by him. He said, Vibhishana, tell me once more what you have been saying. I want to know what happened. Vibhishana told him once again about Indrajit and his Maya, that Sita was safe in the Ashokavana, and he added, Please send Lakshmana with me with a portion of the army. Indrajit has in his possession the astra by name Brahma Shirsha, and that was the gift of Brahma. His horses were also given by Brahma. If, in addition to this, he completes the yaga at Nikumbila, then remember, he will be able to kill all of us. If the enemy is attacked before this happens, it has been said by Brahma that the one who disturbs the yaga will be able to kill Indrajit. His death has already been destined. Command your brother to set out with me now. If Indrajit is dead, that means Ravana is dead too. Rama said, I know about the Maya tactics he adopts while fighting. He is conversant with the Astras and also the Brahmastra, as we know only too well. The gods will be helpless before his Vela. When he is in the sky, no one can follow his movements. Then Rama told Lakshmana, Child, go at once to the spot indicated by Vibhishana. Take as many Vanaras with you as you can, and Jambavan also. Kill Indrajit and rid the army of the Mayavi opponent. Vibhishana will lead you to the spot where the yaga is being performed. Go to Nikumbila, and after killing Indrajit, come back to me. Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Panamastu. Chapter 31 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda. Lakshmana accosts Indrajit. Shri Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Lakshmana took up his bow in his hand. He put on his armor and he prostrated before his brother with reverence. He said, Rama, my God, my arrows will leave my bow and rush towards Indrajit. They will pierce his chest and drink his blood. Taking leave of Rama, Lakshmana went eagerly towards the place by name Nikumbila. Nikumbila, where the yaga was being performed by Indrajit. Vibhishana went with Lakshmana. He was joined by Jambavan and his army made up of bears. Soon they reached Nikumbila, and he saw the army of Rakshasas surrounding the place. Bow in hand, Lakshmana went with resolute steps, and his mind was bent on killing Indrajit. Vibhishana said, Lakshmana, look, let our army assail this army of Rakshasas with their weapons made of trees and rocks. Let them concentrate on the destruction of the army. When his army is in trouble, Indrajit will come out and his task will be incomplete. You must begin to fight with him and do so before his yaga is completed. He is wicked and an adharmi. He has been harassing all the three worlds, and you should be the one to kill him. Lakshmana took the advice of Vibhishana. The army of Indrajit was attacked fiercely by the Vanaras, and soon they were at the mercy of the Vanaras. Indrajit heard the commotion, and he had to come out before he could complete the yaga. With his breath coming in gasps, the angry prince emerged from the solitary spot, Nikumbila, and ascended the chariot which was waiting for him. He took his bow in his hand, and with anger on his brow, he looked like the god of death who had come to kill everyone who came within sight of him. Vibhishana told Lakshmana, Indrajit is so angry that he looks like he is ready to kill everyone. The Rakshasa army rushed to Indrajit, and he saw Hanuman rushing towards them with a huge tree in his uplifted hand. Alone he was handling a small army, and not one of them was left alive once he hit them with the tree. Indrajit went towards Hanuman and began to fight with him. Vibhishana told Lakshmana, Indrajit is bent on killing Hanuman. Now is the time for you to accost the son of Ravana. Vibhishana went with Lakshmana to where Indrajit was. He entered the forest where the yaga was being performed in secret, and Vibhishana showed it all to Lakshmana. He displayed the huge Nyogrodha tree and said, Indrajit performs the sacrifices here and begins the fight after that every time. He becomes invincible to everyone before the beginning of the fight, and he attacks the enemy from a place of hiding, whether it is from above the earth or from behind a bank of clouds. Now is the time for you to display your valor and kill him. Lakshmana twanged the string of his bow as if to say, yes. Indrajit came to the presence of Lakshmana, and he was well equipped with all the accoutrements for a fight. Lakshmana called out to Indrajit and said, I am challenging you to fight with me. I am waiting for you. Jai Shri Lakshmana. Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Panamast. Chapter 31, Part 2 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda. Lakshmana accosts Indrajit. Apadamahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokaviramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamya. Lakshmana called out to Indrajit and said, I am challenging you to fight with me. I am waiting for you. Indrajit had no option but to accept the challenge. He could not complete the yaga at Nikumbila. His eyes were crimson with wrath, and they were fixed on Vibhishana, and he said, You were born here in Lanka, and you have eaten the salt of Lanka. You are the brother of the king, my father. You happen to be my uncle, and you have dared to betray me to the enemy. How could you do it? You are a killer of dharma. You are evil-minded. You have no sense of loyalty. You have no goodness in you, and your kinsfolk mean nothing to you. Your brother is not dear to you. Foolish as you are, You have abandoned your people and you have found refuge in the enemy's camp. You have become the bonded slave of the enemy. I feel sorry for you since you have won the censure of the world of men. People in after times will condemn you for your actions. Being true to one's own clan is one thing, and to be friendly with a small minded stranger is quite another. You are not just friendly with them, you have become a slave to them. Your shattered mind does not seem to grasp the difference between the two. The enemy may be superior and one's own people may be in the wrong, but loyalty to one's own kith and kin is far better than being faithful to the enemy. One who abandons one's own people and adopts the other as his will certainly be destroyed once the enemy is victorious. My dear uncle, you are a blot on the name of our house. Listen to me. That Rama is pretending to be friendly with you since it serves his purpose to do so. He wants to know all the secrets of our army and conquer us if he can. If he manages to do so, he will then kill you. You are the brother of Ravana, and it follows that you will be considered to be his enemy by Rama. This heartlessness which I find in you is possible only for you. It is cruel and it is part of you. I can say nothing more. Vibhishana spoke back. You are the wicked son of a king who is wicked. You do not know anything about me and about my behavior. You think you are wiser than the wisest and you rant at will. Shed this arrogance. I grant that I have been born in the home of Rakshasas, but my instincts have never been in conformity with those of Rakshasa. They are more akin to those of a human being. I am never pleased with violence and adharma has never attracted me. My brother behaved in a sinful manner, and why did he send me away from him? A righteous man should avoid one who is an adharmi, even as one flings away a serpent which has coiled itself around one's wrist. Violence, stealing the wife of another, stealing what belongs to another, lusting after other women are all to be shunned like one runs away from a house on fire. The wise have said so. These sins are but the forerunners of one's destruction. All these many years, my brother has reveled in sin. He has enjoyed killing rishis and he has fought with the devas. His anger and his arrogance are proverbial. He has never followed the path of dharma, and all these are certain to drain him of his wealth, his fame, and his very life. Like the clouds obscure the top of a mountain, these faults have eclipsed whatever good qualities he might have had. I abandoned my brother, your father, for the simple reason that I could not live with his unrighteousness. I am telling you that this Lanka will not be here anymore, nor you, nor your father. You are young, proud, and full of conceit. You revel in performing wicked deeds, and the noose of death is on your neck already. Say what you wish to me. I am unconcerned. Danger has approached you, and you will never reach the vicinity of the new Gururaja tree. You will not escape death at the hands of Lakshmana. Come, fight with him, and if you are killed, you will reach the heavens meant for heroes who die on the battlefield. Let us see your valor, and let me see you try all the weapons you have and your bow and arrows. Once the arrow of Lakshmana is aimed at you, not all your army will be able to save you from certain death. You are not going back to the city alive. I am certain of that. Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Pranamastu. Chapter 31, Part 2 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda. Lakshmana accosts Indrajit. Apadamahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokaviramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namami. Lakshmana called out to Indrajit and said, I am challenging you to fight with me. I am waiting for you. Indrajit had no option but to accept the challenge. He could not complete the yaga at Nikumbila. His eyes were crimson with wrath and they were fixed on Vibhishana, and he said, You were born here in Lanka and you have eaten the salt of Lanka. You are the brother of the king, my father. You happen to be my uncle and you have dared to betray me to the enemy. How could you do it? You are a killer of dharma. You are evil-minded. You have no sense of loyalty. You have no goodness in you, and your kinsfolk mean nothing to you. Your brother is not dear to you. Foolish as you are, you have abandoned your people and you have found refuge in the enemy's camp. You have become the bonded slave of the enemy. I feel sorry for you since you have won the censure of the world of men. People in after times will condemn you for your actions. Being true to one's own clan is one thing, and to be friendly with a small-minded stranger is quite another. You are not just friendly with them, you have become a slave to them. Your shattered mind does not seem to grasp the difference between the two. The enemy may be superior and one's own people may be in the wrong, but loyalty to one's own kith and kin is far better than being faithful to the enemy. One who abandons one's own people and adopts the other as his will certainly be destroyed once the enemy is victorious. My dear uncle, you are a blot on the name of our house. Listen to me. That Rama is pretending to be friendly with you since it serves his purpose to do so. He wants to know all the secrets of our army and conquer us if he can. If he manages to do so, he will then kill you. You are the brother of Ravana, and it follows that you will be considered to be his enemy by Rama. This heartlessness which I find in you is possible only for you. It is cruel and it is part of you. I can say nothing more. Vibhishana spoke back. You are the wicked son of a king who is wicked. You do not know anything about me and about my behavior. You think you are wiser than the wisest and you rant at will. Shed this arrogance. I grant that I have been born in the home of Rakshasas, but my instincts have never been in conformity with those of a Rakshasa. They are more akin to those of a human being. I am never pleased with violence and adharma has never attracted me. My brother behaved in a sinful manner, and why did he send me away from him? A righteous man should avoid one who is an adharmi, even as one flings away a serpent which has coiled itself around one's wrist. Violence, stealing the wife of another, stealing what belongs to another, lusting after other women are all to be shunned like one runs away from a house on fire. The wise have said so. These sins are but the forerunners of one's destruction. All these many years, my brother has reveled in sin. He has enjoyed killing rishis and he has fought with the devas. His anger and his arrogance are proverbial. He has never followed the path of dharma, and all these are certain to drain him of his wealth, his fame and his very life. Like the clouds obscure the top of a mountain, these faults have eclipsed whatever good qualities he might have had. I abandoned my brother, your father, for the simple reason that I could not live with his unrighteousness. I am telling you that this Lanka will not be here any more, nor you, nor your father. You are young, proud and full of conceit. You revel in performing wicked deeds, and the noose of death is on your neck already. Say what you wish to me. I am unconcerned. Danger has approached you, and you will never reach the vicinity of the new Gururaja tree. You will not escape death at the hands of Lakshmana. Come, fight with him, and if you are killed, you will reach the heavens meant for heroes who die on the battlefield. Let us see your valor, and let me see you try all the weapons you have and your bow and arrows. Once the arrow of Lakshmana is aimed at you, not all your army will be able to save you from certain death. You are not going back to the city alive. I am certain of that. Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Pranamastu. Chapter 32 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda, the killing of Indrajit. Apada Mahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamya. Indrajit was highly incensed by the words of Vibhishana. He took up his mighty bow in his hand, and he took his stance in the chariot which was famed the world over. The horses which were yoked to it were given to him by Brahma. He saw Lakshmana, who was carried on the shoulders of Hanuman. He twanged the string of his bow and said, "Just wait till you see the arrows which will flow from my bow. They will destroy this army even as fire will a heap of cotton. I will send all of you to the city of Yama, and you should prepare yourself for it. Who is there brave enough to withstand my prowess? Lakshmana, do you remember? Hardly a few days ago, during the fight in the night, you and your heroic brother were made to sleep on the ground. You were then unable to withstand my arrows. Evidently, you do not remember it, or else you would not have dared to come here and challenge me now. I am hissing like an angry serpent, and I will spit venom and kill you." Lakshmana was unruffled by his words, and he said, "You have told me about your valor. It is up to you to prove it now. Words should be followed up with action which suits the words. You think a task is achieved because you wish it to be so? You adopted Maya tactics, and such warfare is not approved of by righteous men. Enough of this empty talk. Let us see what you can do now with me in front of you." Indrajit sent sharp arrows which wounded Lakshmana. They hurt him, and there was blood all over his body. Lakshmana pulled the string of the bow to the utmost and sent several arrows called Narachas to hurt Indrajit. He was able to make them lodge in the chest of the prince of Lanka. The duel went on. Both were valiant and both were excellent archers. Both were proficient in the art of warfare, and both were heroes. They were both conversant with the use of all the many weapons used in fighting, and they were at home in the handling of astras. They were like two planets attacking each other in the sky, like two lions fighting for supremacy in a forest. Both were drenched with blood, and both of them had arrows lodged in their bodies. Again and again could be heard the twanging of bowstrings, and the army around stopped fighting and was watching this duel with bated breath. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Lakshmana. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Pranamastu. Chapter 32, Part 2 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda, the killing of Indrajit. Shri Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Indrajit seemed to be slightly tired, and Lakshmana did not lessen his onslaught. For a while, the Rakshasa was unconscious, and he recovered soon and began to fight again. He sent arrows to hurt Lakshmana, Hanuman, and Vibhishana. With a gesture of disdain, Vibhishana plucked the arrows and threw them down. After a while, Indrajit's arrow split the armor of Lakshmana, and it fell to the ground, and his own armor had already been broken by Lakshmana. Neither was tired out, and again both were tired. Astra was met by astra, and weapon by weapon. Vibhishana joined in the fight, and several of the great fighters on the side of Indrajit, who were in the Rakshasa army, were harassed by him and by the Vanara army, which he encouraged to join in the fight. Indrajit was angry with him and the Vanaras. Vibhishana told himself, "It is not right for me to kill the son of my brother. I am waiting for Lakshmana to do it. The others can join in the fight." Lakshmana and Indrajit were deaf and blind to the rest of the world. Their fight had reached the most fierce stage. The arrows flew so fast from their bows, it was not possible to follow their flights. The sky was not seen, and the air was thick with the arrows. It looked as though the sun had set, since it was so dark all around. Beasts and birds made dreadful noises, and the very air stood still with fear. Fire would not burn, and the rishis in the heavens wished that the world should be saved from the wrath of these two fighters. They were both determined to fight to a finish. Lakshmana heard the horses of the chariot of Indrajit, and he killed the charioteer also. Indrajit took the reins of the horses in his hand and drove the chariot himself, and at the same time he fought with Lakshmana. It was indeed a glorious sight. The Vanara army jumped on the horses and killed them, and soon the chariot was also broken. Indrajit abandoned the chariot and stood on the ground. The man and the Rakshasa fought as though nothing had happened during their fight. Indrajit spoke to his men and said, "It is so dark that nothing is discernible. No one can recognize his neighbor. Keep on fighting, and I will go back to the city and return with another chariot. See that my absence is not noticed by these stupid monkeys." Ravana's son deceived all of them and went into the city. Quickly he took a chariot which was provided with all the weapons, and he came back to the field. Lakshmana and Vibhishana were wonderstruck at the swiftness with which he had accomplished his desire. They were all admiration for him. Jai Shri Lakshmana, Jai Shri Ram, Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramarpanamast. Chapter 32, Part 3 of Ramayana's Yudhakhanda, the killing of Indrajit. Apada Mahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam. With renewed vigor, Indrajit fought, and it seemed as though the fight would never end. Lakshmana saw his army being destroyed, and he took an arrow quickly and broke the bow of Indrajit. He took another bow, and that was also broken. Hurt by several arrows from Lakshmana, Indrajit took another bow. The duel went on, and the anger of the prince had not abated. His anger against Vibhishana. Again and again he aimed some of his arrows at his uncle and also at Hanuman. The second chariot of Indrajit was also broken, and the horses killed. Indrajit aimed the astra presided over by Yama at Lakshmana, and he replied with the astra of Kubera. It had been given by Kubera himself, and that in a dream. The two astras met in mid-air, and there was fire and smoke emitted by both. Each destroyed the other, and they fell to the ground in splinters. Lakshmana thought of sending the Varunastra, and it was destroyed by Raudra, sent by his enemy. Indrajit now sent the astra of Agni, and Shuryastra was able to nullify it. Ashurastra was fierce when sent by Indrajit, but Lakshmana knew that Maha Maheshwara would soon put it to shame. Rishis and Pitris were now in the sky and they blessed Lakshmana from there. Aindra was the astra which Lakshmana took in his hand now. It was presided over by Indra and it was a deadly astra. It was like death at the time of the great deluge, and Lakshmana bent his bow and pulled the strings to the utmost. While he did so, he said, "If it is true that Rama is unequaled in prowess, if it is true that he has ever been righteous, if it is true that he has ever been truthful, then may this arrow kill Indrajit, the son of Ravana." Lakshmana spoke the incantations with reverence and sent the arrow towards Indrajit. It travelled like a streak of lightning and it severed the beautiful head of Indrajit from his body and it fell to the ground. It was like a golden lotus which had grown on the earth. Indrajit was dead. And there was a roar from the Vanara army which reached the skies. There was a great commotion in the skies, and the army of Rakshasas fled in all four directions when it saw their master fallen. Their weapons fell from their nerveless hands, and they ran as fast as they could towards Lanka. Indrajit, who had been a thorn in the side of Rama, who had fought as no one else had, who had been the favored great-great-grandson of Brahma, who was an adept in every kind of warfare, who was a master of all the astras which the Kosala brothers possessed, who was so full of bravery and valor, who had commanded the loyalty of every one of his men, who was the sole hope of Ravana, who was the beloved son of Mandodari, was now dead, and his head illumined the field of battle like the sun which had fallen to the earth because of a curse. He was like the moon which had been cursed by Daksha and who had lost his brilliance. Indrajit, who had captured Indra and brought him to his father's city as a captive, was dead, was killed by the Astra, which was, ironically enough, presided over by Indra. Jai Shri Lakshmana, Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Pranamast.